story about the astronaut who went far out into space and was asked on his return whether he had been to heaven and seen God. And he said yes.
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence. Join us on this journey to find the others. Because no matter where we find ourselves in this multiverse, the act of existing is all too familiar.
Guys? Is anybody out there? Hello?
The mushroom has a tremendous problem-solving ability.
Herbs are good. Herbs are good flavor tea.
As we look across this great expanse and stare at the stars, we can't help but be reminded these lights, though we're seeing them all at the same time, happen across a multi-billion-year delta. Some of those fires burned millions of years ago, some billions, but all of them happened so we could experience them in this one singular moment.
They called us scouts. They called us seekers. They called us Hoosier. But we were destined to question everything.
I don't know about you, but as for me, the question has already been answered. Should we be here? Yes.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. You can stream us live on WGNU920am.com, Facebook Live, YouTube, Mycelial Media. You can check out past podcasts on all major podcasting platforms except for Spotify, because I ain't doing Spotify.
Forget you, Spotify.
Forget you.
We love you guys. Happy Friday. What a
Happy
great day.
Friday.
Seth's
It's-
here. No integrity.
Seth, how are you, sir?
I'm in the building.
Seth is in the building.
I don't say it with as much soul as integrity.
You got all the soul, Seth. I see your soul.
Are you getting little skippies too?
A little bit.
Okay.
So, Steve,
Yeah.
it's spring's in full force.
I love it.
I'm
I
wearing
love
my
this,
Easter colors.
I love spring. I do. I
We,
actually
uh,
love spring.
That's gay. We're gay.
Yes, saying Seth.
Seth's on the- Seth's
I
on
am.
the
I'm
air.
gay as heck.
He's so pleased with himself.
I'm gay as heck because I love spring. Okay. And gay means happy and full of joy.
It's true.
And I'm gay as the day is long and the days are getting longer.
Seth, can you go ahead and clip that off? Thank you. So we've got I got a little story. We got a really
I love
we
when
got
you tell me
we got
stories.
a pretty cool little show. Tim Bono, PhD professor from Washington
Love
University.
that guy, dude. He's so good.
He spoke at Shane Mauss's comedy show the other night that we were lucky enough to go to on Wednesday night.
Funny and smart.
The comedians killed it. Shane and Dave Waite had me belly laughing. My gut was hurting. Great delivery. Awesome guy.
Funniest stuff.
But it was a really neat little dynamic they had going on there, because it was comedy and then it was science, and then it was comedy, and then it was science, and then it was a free-for-all question and answer
cool.
with the whole panel. And so I'm excited to have Tim Bono. He's going to call in at 6:35. We got our friends Heather Hausman and Nathan Forbush. They're coming in here. They're going to talk to us about water. There's a big thing going on down-
Nathan Forbush. Heather Hausman and Nathan Forbush.
Talk about water?
Yeah, water's trying to kill us. Get ready. Water's trying to kill you. I don't know. Do you want to drink it? Maybe not.
But something
have you
that
ever watched Dateline? Everything's killing you.
Calcify your pineal gland.
Actually, the thing that's killing you is being alive.
Ooh,
True, we're all terminal.
calcify your pineal
All
gland.
But we play a little game called Things I Love. around here.
We did.
And it's been a while. It's been a while since we've done our.
Now we're just showing off for
our
Tim.
weekly. No,
Yeah, we are.
he
We're showing off for
inspired me.
Tim.
He inspired me to do this again, guys. There was a whole reason why we did it, and it was because it was a weekly practice of gratitude for us and
Got
our
away from
fans,
it.
and we did. We got away from it.
You heard my messages, Seth.
I'm upset with myself.
That's probably why.
Because you have not been playing things I
I
love.
think we maybe have some sound from. Did you hear it actually?
I have not yet.
I think we have some sound from Craig, Seth.
I'm still from fucking South City. I'm still gonna break your fucking mouth if you come to me with that bull. So there's that. No condescension there. You're not an equal in my group. I'd like to. You are when it comes to civil conversation. You don't just get to dump your fucking garbage in my living room. So take your shit and get the fuck on. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Now, on to Hoosier Tattoo Day.
Yeah, we did have some sound. We did have some sound from Craig.
Said what he felt needed to be said.
I've clearly gotten away.
One of the most libertarian speeches I've heard.
I've clearly gotten away from my happiness. My gratitude game is not doing well right now. So we're bringing things I love back. We're doing it. We're doing it. And this story is going to tie in to the thing that I love later when we talk to Tim.
Okay.
I was playing football. It was probably the year 2000. Probably. I think I was maybe a sophomore.
In the year 2000.
Sophomore, maybe 99. I think it was 2000. Okay. So 2-a-days.
2000.
It's a really brutal, hot summer
I get
day.
the reference, Steve, just so you know.
As all 2-a-days practice are. They're all hell. It's 104 degrees. You're wearing pads. You're doing nothing but running all day.
I didn't play football.
It was. You probably did soccer 2-a-days. Though. That's a lot of running in the heat. Listen, so I'm beat. This is after my my second practice. So it's the evening practice. My dad comes to pick me up, and I get in his van, and I'm out of the shower. I'm just dragging, climb up in there. I can't wait to get home, eat as much food as I can, and go to bed.
What time is it?
Get up. It's at this point. It's whatever 6:37.
Okay.
Second practice got over. I'm tired. I got to be up at 6 a.m. Do it again tomorrow. Let's do this. I get in the car, and usually, Dad and I will have some sports talk on the radio. We'll just have a little chat on the way home, whatever. And today he was not feeling. He just didn't have that positive pop energy. You know what I mean?
You could tell something was up with
I
him.
could tell something was kind of up.
And you're just coming off a 2-a-day, man. You don't need that.
I don't need it, Dad. So I get in, and he goes, Craig, what's up with the skin flick? And I go, the skin flick? He's like, yeah, the porno, the movie. And I'm like, I'm not sure I understand the question.
How old are you? I was 16.
16.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feigning ignorance, but at the same time, like, we're not having that. Dad, I am exhausted. Okay, I don't
because
have
of that porno.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sleeping at night, and I'm doing 2-a-days.
Jeez,
that's right. Boner Jams 2000. So we're sitting there, and I'm like, Dad, I don't. He goes, the one that you had in your VCR in your room, and I go, with all due respect, why are you going through the VCR in my room? A, and B, I'm 16 years old. I think this is a normal thing. He goes, oh, no, son, you misunderstand me. I don't have a problem with you having a porno. Where I have a problem is when your 9-year-old sister has her friends over to play. And my heart sinks through my gut. And I'm like, oh, no. What's the worst
sex
thing?
offender, bro?
I might be.
You're on the
I
list.
didn't have it under lock and key.
I didn't
have it under lock and key. Okay.
Yep. Hold on. It's beep.
So
beep,
that's
beep,
not
beep,
the end
beep,
of the
beep,
story.
beep.
And I'm like,
okay.
So like, what were they doing in my room, Dad? Like, I'm on the defensive now. I'm like, why are people can you help me out?
This never needed to happen.
This is on
never.
You. You're not watching a group of 9-year-olds. They're just rogue. They're just running around rogue.
You don't let them in my room.
What are you
That's
doing? I'm
terrible
16.
parenting.
You were 16 once. Grow up.
Bad parenting.
Come on. This is on you. So this story really can't get worse, right? Well, it does. The reason my dad found out is because it was the neighbor who called him about the movie.
Hey.
So I'm thinking, oh man, like they
So the
pressed
kid-
play in my room. These 3 little girls pressed play in my room, probably saw something, queued up. Obviously, this is VHS. We got a pause button. Like, you keep it just kind of stopped where it's at. Like, we're not be kind, rewind. We're not doing that. We got little bookmarks.
It's just your movie for your little Joe sesh, for your little your little slapping the goat.
So, yeah, this is a. I'm trying to be really vulnerable with you here, Steve. So,
I know, and it's hilarious. It's
so
hilarious.
What happened is they didn't watch it in my room. No, that's not what happened. That would have been, almost defensible. What they did was, you see, we had a huge collection of VHS. Like, I would put it up against some of the great collectors in the world. Like, my mom, there was like 7, 8, 10 new.
Oh, you were that.
VHS. We had every movie.
You had the case of
I had,
yeah. Boom, chuckle. That fires me up, dude.
Yeah, it fires me up. I had them
Dan
all.
Marley.
I had them all.
Squeeze.
I had them all. So we're sitting there, and so they basically say, we're going to go grab a movie from the rack.
Okay.
I got a whole on my wall too. Like, downstairs we got it, and I've got a bunch up in my room. On the
you
wall.
guys,
yeah, a lot of VHS. We were,
and you had the thick section for like the Disney ones, where you had to put all
solid
the thick
middle class
ones, like
solid middle class. Had all the Disney and all the plastic ones, absolutely, but still alphabetical. I mean, like, we're not caving.
And the old one-hander commander over here.
So what happened was they decided to grab a movie. And rather than grabbing one off the shelf, they pressed eject.
What was the movie's name? Pumpin' Doolies?
No, it was a mixtape. It was a mixtape. Yeah, it was a mixtape. Like, it was a highlight reel.
Pumpin' Doolies. That looks good.
So that's what's going on here. The neighbor calls, and what happened was they took this movie back to their house next door, and they put it on the main living room TV. They've got a giant big screen TV.
Seth's losing it.
They've got a giant big screen TV, and their dad walks into 3 horrified little girls in the middle of just. This was not like something I taped off of Cinemax. This was hardcore. This was hardcore. I've always had a penchant. What can I say?
You've always been that guy. Oh my God. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. So to this day, that neighbor.
Okay. So this happens at your neighbor's
while
house.
I'm at practice. They grab the tape from my bedroom, from the VCR, bring it over there, pop it in to the main VCR,
and their dad sees it. So the dad's like, "Oh, I know."
Dad and 3 9-year-old girls.
I bet the dad had a moment of panic where he's like, "Where'd they get this tape? My stash!" Like, he's like, "Wait, I haven't seen this one before."
What's funny about this is that my
oh my God, I'm sorry.
I told my sister, or I was retelling this story, and my sister had repressed this memory so much. She was like, I remember the neighbor did not like you, and I couldn't remember what it was that happened. And I was like, oh yeah, it was pretty much the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened in my entire life. Like, I was the embodiment of like Jason Biggs in American Pie. It was that level of embarrassment, like crippling embarrassment. And I still got to I got to get up at 6 in the morning. I got to go play football. I can't wait to get to football practice to get as far away from my neighbor's house as possible. To this day, I mean, this happened almost 20 years ago. To this day, like, we've talked on, in 20 years, probably I could count the number of times we talked on one hand, maybe 2. Whenever
What's
my
this
brother
neighbor like?
Oh, he's a principal now at the high school that I was playing football at.
That's pretty good.
It was,
and his daughter's in porn.
He was. Anyway, to this day, I when I visiting my mom or whatever in Springfield, I can't look this guy like I can look him in the eye, but he just like is looking over. He's just like looking at my forehead.
Pumping doolies. Molly Ringwald's in that. Let's
I never gave that back to your old man.
Yeah, exactly.
Good taste, kid.
Exactly. They're like, you little lollipopper.
It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, and it will tie into my thing I love.
My God,
I can probably just give you it right now, and we can play things I love throughout the whole show.
Do it.
So a thing I love is I love when I get embarrassed like that. If I come across a wholly embarrassing moment, one of the things that helps me like cope through that anxiety is that I continually remind myself how funny this is going to be in the scope of time and perspective. And so now I get to tell this story, and believe me, still one of the most embarrassing moments of my life, but it is absolutely hilarious.
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me. If it offended anybody, get tough.
Condescending Craig.
Why don't
There
you
he
tell me a
is.
story?
All right. Well, I am snotting and crying after that one. Like, that was a truly great story. Seeing how hard Seth was laughing was really funny. Craig, that was.
I didn't know if I ever told you the story. I even felt like I told it on air.
You've told it to me before, I think, but I didn't. That was one of those ones that, you know, you kind of just put out your memory because you don't pay attention to what your friends say.
Absolutely.
Do we have any comments on the text line? Remember, you can follow us on YouTube at Mycelial Media or the Facebook page, WGNU 920 AM.
Radio.com at the end of it.
Radio's dead. So this ties into a little bit of the Shane Mauss. This is kind of the joke he had. I'm not going to do things I love, Seth. So let's go ahead and drop that. I'm going to tell a story, and then I don't have anything I love right now until after the story. I could tell you had your hand on your head, just laying down like you're regretting life back there. Lance Lanau, we might have some sound from him later. It's a little shout out. He said he liked the new hat. I got a cork hat on right now. I'm losing the feed. Is that just me?
It's just you.
Okay, cool. So Shane had a joke about how when you go to a kegger, and if you're on psychedelics, you take mushrooms at a kegger. We've talked about it before.
Sure.
Some people have taken psychedelics and they took them in just the worst setting, and they're like, "This is awful." Like, it's like I went to a kegger on a head full, and man, was it awful. And it's like, yeah, keggers are awful, and the mushrooms really let you know that they're not that fun. You know what I mean? So it's kind of this running joke. This is probably my freshman, sophomore year of college. So I had taken a few hallucinogens at this time. I'm pretty well versed in what's going on. I had taken LSD a handful of times and mushrooms a handful of times. So, and this is right when me and my wife are first kind of chatting as well. So it's kind of like, it's an important time in my life. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jen. So everyone remembers Gito's, right? We remember Gito's. This place is a 3 a.m. bar in St. Louis. We had these certain 3 a.m. bars that were just off the chassis late at night. You know, it was packed, nuts to elbows inside of that place. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Can I say that?
I think so. Yeah.
So everyone's getting crazy. Usually in those places, it's nuts. So Friday or Saturday night, you show up at Gito's. Everyone, if you're in there at like 1, it's fairly empty. But at 1:45, when all the 1:30 bars have closed in St. Louis, if you're listening abroad, some of the bars will close at 1:30, and then we have certain bars that stay open until 3, and that's like Cusimano's. Remember Cusimano's on Manchester? Mm-hmm. Some of these places would just explode late at night with the drunkest of drunkest people wanting to extend the party as long as they can. The worst.
Yeah, the only people that are trying to get to a 3 a.m. bar are people that are already too drunk to make a good choice and go home.
Yeah, nothing good happens after.
Don't get in the cab at 2 a.m. Don't do that.
So I'm taking some psychedelics with my buddy Rich, who kind of reminds me of you, except he used all of his powers for evil instead. And I went from OT 2 to OT 9. If you know me from that era, you're like, you are a human piece of garbage, sir. A giant turd. So I don't, those people have every right in the world to think that I'm human waste. Okay.
What do you think, darling? Should I hate him?
Yes. The answer is very adamantly yes, you should. But then, I had Oliver, I had my son at in 09, OT 9. So, after that. So anyways, this is when I was probably in my pretty crap phase of being a human. And so we eat some psychedelics. We're having a good time at the house, listening to some music. That's always my jam. We're in an apartment complex, and apartments are always kind of weird. I don't even like that kind of setting.
Wait,
I'd rather be in the
music
woods.
is your jam?
Thank you.
It's all jammed up out there.
Yeah, let's check with weather and traffic. It's jammed up out there. So we're having a good old time there. We get a call from Jenny and her crew. Bunch of her friends, bunch of gals, baby. This is when Jenny and I are like kind of dating, kind of seeing each other a little bit. not even really dating yet, nowhere near dating, but seeing each other. And so I'm on a head full, and I'm in, baby. And so he's like, yeah, my buddy Rich is like, and he's that guy. He's like, yeah, let's go to Gito's. Let's show people that we can do hallucinogens and get after it and like party as hard as anyone can party. Hunter S. Thompson, baby. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
That sounds awful, man.
Try to talk him out of it for a little while. I'm like, no.
You always do. There's always got to be the one guy.
I'm like, man, it's 1:30. Like, that place is going to be popping here soon. He lived off of South Lindbergh, so it wasn't too far away, but I didn't want to be driving.
Not a good choice.
I won't drive. I'll never drive, but I'm like, yeah, here's my life in your hands. Yeah, drive me, buddy, as long as I'm not behind the wheel. I was that guy all the time. Like, oh, I'm hammered. You're hammered. Here's the keys, bud. Good luck. Godspeed. I'm going to lay back over here. Like, good luck. So he drives us there. I remember being like floating. I never recommend set and setting, guys. Set and setting. This was not it. So we're like cruising down there, River to Pear, and like, felt like we were floating almost on a river to the roads. So we get to the parking lot. There's that side parking lot on the side of the building. It's an old brick building that kind of sits by itself. Well, that's two big like bay windows kind of in the front, because there's a restaurant / bar, but after 1:30, it just became a madhouse. So I remember vividly walking up, and I'm like, get yourself ready for this, man. This is, the whole time I'm driving there, I'm like, this is not going to be good. This is not, I'm already in my head. I'm already in my head. So I go to the windows, I look at the windows, and it just looks like people are as drunk as they've ever been, like slamming themselves up against the window. That's what I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, it's chaos in there. And they had to keep cops like at every entrance, just to make sure the S didn't go down there, because it's a bunch of drunk idiots. They used to have them at all the entrances and exits. So we get to the entrance. I wanted no part of anything to do with this. 3 cops sitting there. One sitting on a chair, 2 are like standing up behind him. These are the second shift cops. So they knew what they were getting into.
Oh, they're good. Usually second shift cops are great. They know what they're in for.
Yeah, dude, exactly. City, I think, is that city? No, it's not city limits, is it? I don't know, whatever. So they were usually just real cool, like whatever. Hey, have fun for a little while. Don't drive drunk, please. So I go out there and I'm like, hey man, hand him my ID, and mind you, everything is just cooking, baby.
Yeah, you got
cooking.
tracers on everything.
Yeah, and I'm like, get your ID out. You've done this 1,000 times. Boom. Cop's like, all right, man, go in. We're 21, so I'm like, okay, we get in. I get in and I start walking in, and I'm getting like away, and I see the bar. You walk in and it's that bar area at first.
Yep.
And then the dance floor is through like a hallway, like the freaking the Gaza Strip of hallways. And you got to go past that into like, the main room where there's karaoke and dancing and lights and debauchery. Rich is behind me, and he's Mr. Confident the whole time. Mr. like, let's go get loose, baby. And I can see in his eyes when you're tripping, like, you're trying to sell me on this. You don't believe it.
Yeah, he's selling himself. Yeah.
Exactly. So he gets in, the cop's like, hey, bud, we're neighbors. Sees his ID. How about that?
That will throw an experience into a tailspin.
And if you're watching the live feed, he grabs his ID and looks at the cop, and he's just like, stone fear, just a stone fear face, like, and the guy's like,
his pupils are dinner plates.
We're neighbors. How long you lived on Sycamore Lane or whatever? And he's like, and I'm like, oh, dude. So my back is to him, right? And I'm like, no, this is where you run. This is where you run into the abyss of people. And you're like, good luck, fella. I never wanted to go to the insane asylum, and you're headed tonight. Like, I'm inside. So I'm like, all right, don't leave a man behind. So I grab him, kind of like go to the cop, and I'm like, oh, this dude's hammered. I'm sorry. And so the cop goes, he was kind of like, at this point, the cop's like, you okay, bud? And my buddy's still just like, like in between grabbing the ID back, just not coherent. So he hands him the ID back, and he's like, get him in there or whatever, get him in with the rest of those drunk people pretty much. And I'm like, okay. So it hits me like a light bulb. I go, dude, you're drunk, man. You're drunk. So in that period, everything like washed over me. I was like, man, you're just an acid drunk. Like I'm bouncing into people
Dancing,
like, sorry, fella, I'm wasted. And he's like, me too. And I'm like, this is actually not the worst vibe in the world. You know what I mean? I wasn't getting that I'm going to fight you drunk style. Finally fight our way back to Jen and her group of friends. Mind you, they're in the middle. They're in like the Kansas of this party. You know what I mean? They're in the center. So we have to get through everybody. We finally get to them. Jen has a cousin who's just the alpha male of alpha males. I love him to death. Love his family to death. But by God, if it wasn't like, hey, puff out your chest. They were doing the Russian dance when I showed up. Mind you, this place is packed. They have spread an area out to do the cross arms, the kick with your feet, him and his buddy. And they're just jacked and juiced. And I can just smell the musky testosterone coming off them. And I'm like, these guys are with Jen. I'm like, of course. Out of all these dudes here, like, yeah, I'm drunk too. I look at them and they're like, what's up, bro? Yeah. What's up? You with my cousin, bro?
Why you gotta disrespect, bro?
Exactly. And I'm like, yeah, man, just courting this fine lady. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do I say to this guy? He's 6 inches taller than me and juiced, okay? And his buddy. So they're like, got me in the Saturday Night Live situation with the Roxbury situation. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening here? So I'm like, yeah, man, I'm just wasted hanging out. And Jen, and I remember seeing Jen, and I was like, oh, she looks so pretty. Like, and that was one thing that I was like, oh, because when I'm sometimes altered, I'll see some chicks who I thought were super hot, but I see their personality and I'm like, ooh, no, she's not that pretty. And then people have really good, I'm like, oh, you got a good heart. Like I can see it. I can kind of see, like, at least in my own head.
No, that's a thing. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, oh, she looks so pretty. And we're kind of hanging out. And at this point, I'm like, oh man, where's my buddy Rich? Like, I wasn't even really thinking about it. All this is happening. I can't believe they did a Russian like doll dance or whatever that stupid thing is in Geno's to let everyone know, hey, guy, I'm here.
We got the floor.
And these chicks in this circle, they're ours, guys. And so me coming in and being like, can I take one of the fillies out of the paddock? They're like, hell no, represent yourself or whatever was happening, bro. And so I did. I look over and in the middle of the dance floor, my buddy Rich, staring at the lights, sweating like I've never seen a human being sweat before in my life, okay? And people are jumping all around him to like the Venga Boys at this point. He's not moving at all, just staring at one of those little balls that has the little colors of light coming out of him. So just dripping everywhere. And I go up to him and I'm like, I'm drunk, Steve, at this time. I'm like, yeah, I'm having a good old time. Get up to him and I'm like, how you doing? He's like, good. I'm like, you look like you're not having a good time at all, dude. Like, just throwing that out there. So he's like, you want to get out of here? And we took Jen back to her house because I wanted to drive with her. I wanted to put her life in Rich's hands as well. Just as many people I can put in danger in a night is what I'm trying to do. So we went back to the house and like listened to some music. But I always remember I was like, oh, Jenny, like that's awesome. That's
a great story.
And even I get back and she was drinking and she's like, oh, I thought you were drunk. I'm like, no, I'm totally on acid. She's like, sweet. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like some chicks you might bring back and they're like, you're on acid, hippie, and you drove, and which they would be valid in that part. But like they're just be like, you took those. I am consuming alcohol. How dare you do hallucinogens around me? And she's like, you're on acid? Sweet. Want to make out? And I'm like, maybe. I don't know.
Let's see how it works.
Let me see that.
Guys, this first hour has been brought to you by Momed Canco. Check out momedcanco.com, Missouri medical cannabis company. If you enter HOSO at checkout, you're going to get 15% off site-wide. Steve's going to oil me up with the brand new Momed Canco massage oil. Yeah, this is kind of strange. Yeah, if you go to momedcanco.com, enter HOSO at checkout. Guys, high quality hemp oil, high quality. Ooh, it's got a nice little scent.
Peppermint.
Yeah, it's
smells like peppered feet.
I'm just joking. Check out momedcanco.com. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. Stick around to the other side of the break.
WGNU is streaming live on WGNU 920 shows, featured interviews, and download the free WGNU phone app. You can take us everywhere you go. WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
Lifetime. Jill.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it.
I wanna lay those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna lay those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding.
Google it.
Roof that for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy boy, yeah.
Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game, best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them. Listen, insurance is not something you want to gamble on.
Now, what my associate's trying to say is that James Carlton State Farm is really cool. You're not even going to believe it. Like, let's say you're driving along on the road with your family, and you're driving along, patch of ice, can't quite stop, boom, you bump into the guy next to you. James Carlton's got somebody out there ready to take care of you 24/7. You call them at 314-961-4800. Now, here's what happens with the other guy's insurance. You're driving along, kids are in the backseat. Daddy, I got to go to the bathroom. Not now, damn it. Ice. You can't stop. Here comes the adjuster. Adjuster gets out. He says, oh, my God. New guy's in the corner puking his guts out. All because you want to save a couple extra pennies. To me, it just doesn't make much sense.
Guys, check out carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
Say word. Last February, we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. And I got to tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house, and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MoMedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MoMedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, MoMedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Dear Vet Ticks, it was nice to spend the night with my daughter and other veterans. It's so humbling to attend an event when you feel appreciated.
I had a wonderful time with my family. Thank you for the memories, Vet Ticks.
Dear Vet Ticks, thank you for a great experience and for your support of the military and veterans.
Thank you so much, Vet Ticks. Our family has gone through a lot the last few years, and this gave us a nice break.
Every empty seat at a concert, game, or special event is a missed opportunity to say thank you to a veteran or a service member. By giving your extra tickets to Vet Ticks, you'll help America's heroes reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create a truly happy memory that will last a lifetime. So when you really want to say thank you for your service, give the experience, give the memory. Vet Ticks. Give something to those who gave. For more information on how you can make a difference, go to vettix.org.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome.
He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Is convicted LSD kingpin to best-selling author Seth Ferranti.
I was in prison. I was really writing for my peers. I wasn't writing for the street. I was with like Italian mafia dudes. I was with like Colombian cocaine cartel dudes. And, all those dudes, there were books about that, guys. But a lot of the African-American gangsters, gangster rap was really big in this time, mid-90s. You just heard their names and everybody was talking about them. And, I'm on these compounds and there's these myths and legends. So that's why I decided to write about them.
Hoosier Sophisticate, Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU.
Technology has evolved so quickly that the people running capitalism from the top no longer understand the tools that are necessary for it. They have to pay guys with ponytails and piercings to turn on the machines every morning. And that must be very terrifying to them.
Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU with your hosts, Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Hoosier Sophisticate here on WGNU 920 AM. We appreciate you following along every Friday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Check out the podcast on all major podcasting platforms. We got to see an awesome show. We talked about it a little bit in the first segment. We went to see Shane Mauss, friend of the show. He's got a great documentary out, Psychonautics. He has a really neat idea for a comedy show. I like that they all follow kind of different themes each go around. And this one is stand-up science. And it was comedian, WashU professor. Comedian, different WashU professor.
I had never heard of WashU before this.
Never in
I
my
thought
life.
it was in Washington State or D.C.
Yes.
Where?
It's so strange. Professor Tim Bono from WashU was the final speaker, and he was absolutely terrific.
Awesome.
And
so good.
On short notice, I said, hey, we talked to him a little bit after the show. Hey, we can have you on this week. Called me today. He's like, hey, can we still make it happen? I said, absolutely. Tim Bono's on the phone. Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Oh, so awesome. So good to hear you. I feel like we're friends now because we've seen you once and now we're talking on the phone. I don't know. It's just me.
Absolutely. Well, next we'll go out for drinks. We'll extend the happiness as much as we can.
That's
I
what
can
we're
appreciate
talking about.
that.
I've actually started already since your talk, with the having kids, talked about it a little bit after the show. We've done 5 things we're grateful for in the morning and 5 things we're grateful for at night. And I think, they're still little chumps sometimes, but, I definitely think it's bringing an aspect of gratitude. So I want to throw a shout out to you for that. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. I'm glad you were able to start using that one.
So, Tim, let's give our fans a little bit of background on you, what your field of study, what it is that you spend a lot of your time researching, and let's go from there.
Absolutely. So I am a psychologist by training, and most people assume that means that I study psychopathology and depression and anxiety. But more recently, the field of psychology has really been giving attention to the other end of the continuum, looking at things like happiness and joy, and really trying to identify the particular behaviors and mindsets that seem to be most effective at increasing our day-to-day happiness and well-being. There's a lot of ideas that are floating out around there, but psychology has really been applying the scientific method to trying to understand what behaviors and what methods seem to be most effective at increasing happiness. And the one you mentioned right there, just thinking of 5 good things every day is a simple one, but it seems to go a long way toward our psychological health and happiness.
I had a profound experience listening to you talk, especially with Shane. I mean, Dave how wonderful is Dave? How'd you even get involved with something like that?
It was completely this thing. I was actually out of town last week, And so, it's one of these things where you check your email and you have like 50 new messages, and I'm scrolling through, what are the throwaways, what are the interesting ones? And in the mix, I see one from Shane, and he says, so this was literally a week ago. He says, hey, I'm going to be in St. Louis. I do this stand-up comedy thing where I get some professors to sort of be part of my comedy show. You do research on happiness. Would you have any interest in doing this? And I thought, well, that's something I've never even heard of before. It sounds like a cool concept. So I don't exactly know how Shane got my name. It was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I did it. I had a great time on Wednesday night.
You were terrific, and it really flowed well with the comedy. You got some real genuine laughs out of us.
I
You had a couple of callbacks to the comedians before you. It was a lot of fun. You recently wrote a book, When Likes Aren't Enough: Crash Course in the Science of Happiness. What's that all about?
Yeah, I did. So I've been teaching this class at WashU for about 5 or 6 years now, looking at the behaviors that seem to promote happiness. And one of the things that we know that's really been that has been a detractor from happiness has been the addiction that I think our society has to social media. Everybody has become preoccupied with their digital profile. And it's not to say that social media or technology are bad. They're actually really wonderful things. But the way that people are using them and how people are kind of using them as a vehicle for social comparison, and they only feel like they're worthwhile if they post a picture and it gets a certain number of likes in a certain amount of time, that seems to be a real barrier to happiness. So the goal with the book was to say, okay, if our obsession with social media is not doing us any favor, what does science have to say about the behaviors that do seem to be most effective at increasing our happiness and bringing about a sense of the well-being that I think we all are interested in achieving in our day-to-day lives? So the book has 10 chapters, and each chapter provides an overview of research that I cover in my class. So it's things like gratitude, pro-social behavior, exercise, meditation, social connection, and other simple things we can be doing day to day. And it provides not only an overview of the behaviors, but it shows the science that gives evidence to support those as behaviors that are worthwhile. And then it also includes stories and quotes from about 80 of my students over the years who have put that research into practice in their own lives. And they talk about some of the challenges they had incorporating some behaviors, and it provides examples of other behaviors that were easier. And it's just honest advice about what are the behaviors that can bring about happiness, and some case studies for models you can follow of ways to actually do that, to hopefully see those benefits that the science has suggested will be real increases in our psychological health in the long run.
Just to remind all of our listening audience, we are being live streamed on Facebook right now, and we're only up to 4 likes.
So we got to increase that, right?
Let's get that, guys, because I'm not feeling good. No, but kind of to tie your book a little bit, and just the happiness psychology and the Shane Mauss thing. Were you a fan of Shane before you heard from him? Have you listened to his stuff beforehand?
So to be perfectly honest with you, I had not heard of Shane ahead of time, although there's a possibility I may have seen him. I do like that the late night TV shows, and I know that both him and Dave, who was the other comedian he had, have been on Conan O'Brien and Jimmy Fallon and Last Man Standing. So I wasn't a fan before, but I will say I'm a fan now. I've looked up a lot of their videos on YouTube. Those are some really funny guys.
Oh.
So it was really fun to share the stage with them on Wednesday night.
Oh, we looked up their old podcast, and if anyone's looking for an old podcast, it's called Riffin', and it's just them being about as dumb as two humans can be. And really, that's my best version of radio. If I could just get on here and do stream of consciousness for 10 minutes talking about riffing with the squeege. So everyone check that out.
Shout out to Dave Waite and Shane.
But we we got into Shane because we talk a lot about psychedelics on the show, and obviously we listen to Joe Rogan and Duncan Trussell, all those guys kind of coming. Aubrey Marcus coming from the same school there. They're big heroes of mine, I know. But I wondered, even listening to you talk, there's been, we've been discussing MDMA therapies. And I was wondering, is MDMA, we're all just chemicals and happiness, you hear it's just serotonin. And then you take MDMA and then that's more serotonin and that's why you can deal with it. Have you or any, scientists looking into, any of this MDMA studies and how it affects happiness? Or is it like some sort of fake happiness or something along those lines?
Yeah, it's a great question because it is something that the scientists have been looking at. And there's actually a couple of studies that I address in the book specifically around, is there a benefit for taking a particular psychiatric medication versus doing some other behavior that more naturally releases that pattern of neurotransmitters and other chemicals in the brain? And what we have found is that, our sense of happiness and well-being cannot be reduced simply to the firing of neurons that release those neurochemicals, but it has a lot to do also with the intentional behavior that leads to the onset of the release of those particular neural firing patterns. And so, for example, exercise is a great way to release serotonin and dopamine in the brain, but you get benefits from that different from just taking a pill like Xanax or Zoloft or something, because in addition to the release of the neurotransmitters, when you exercise or when you practice gratitude or do one of those other natural behaviors, you get what psychologists call a sense of self-efficacy, which is like a sense of confidence or the sense of accomplishment that comes from having to work hard at something. And we know that that is also a very important part of our psychological health, doing behaviors of our own volition. The problem with, taking a psychiatric intervention like drug or medicine or something is that it's from an external source. And so when you start to feel better, the attribution that you end up making is one of, well, I'm feeling better because of the drug, or I'm feeling better because of the prescription the psychiatrist prescribed for me. Whereas when it's exercise or something like that, it's something that I did personally of my own volition. And so you get the additional psychological benefits knowing that you did it on your own.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. And it's like, it seems so simple. It's like, be grateful. But it's fascinating hearing the science behind it, because, Craig and I are apart, and I feel like a douchey guy even saying this, but it's like, we're on the board of a project for 22. It's a veterans, suicide prevention foundation. And we discuss all the time, like, if people are, because we talk about the pharmaceutical battles all the time. And if people are feeling like they want to actually take their life and take it to that step. Neither of us are veterans. Not that it only affects veterans, but is anything going into these studies with like a suicide and we always talk about what would make someone shift and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Is there a magic bullet? Not that there is, but the chemicals, is it a chemical thing? Is it something that you can take a pill for? And you know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts on that, I guess?
Yeah, those are really complicated issues because obviously with someone who's taken their life, we can't ask them. So what was going on right before that happened? And to be clear, in no way is the field of positive psychology saying that we should do away with psychiatric medication, because we do know that for a significant number of people, exercise by itself is not going to do it. The gratitude practice is not going to do it. Or there could be other chemical imbalances for which truly they need a drug like Zoloft or something else, because the brain is incapable of releasing that pattern of neurotransmitters. But one of the things that we do know about suicide is that it's actually, so many people assume that it's going to happen when someone is at the absolute depths of their despair, at the height of their depression. And what we have been learning is that people are actually most likely to commit suicide when they just started to turn the corner and they're starting to feel a little bit better. Because one of the things we know about severe forms of depression is that there's no motivation to do anything, include acting on suicidal ideation. And so once they start to feel better, they start to regain their motivation. They're still pretty bad. And that's unfortunately when they're most likely to take their lives. So in terms of the behaviors then that are most important to treat somebody who has such severe depression that they're thinking about taking their own life, that is, I think, where it's appropriate to refer them to a psychiatrist or some other individual who specializes not in positive psychology, because that positive psychology is really about, proactively building, kind of going from a neutral point into something more positive. But that is where it's very important to have the specialists who have identified the strategies to help people from the true depths of despair. And sometimes it is a psychiatric medication. If someone is feeling incredibly depressed, saying, tell me 5 good things, well, they might be in such a low place that those 5 good things are not going to come easily. And so working with a psychiatrist or other trained specialists very likely is going to be the way to go.
Do you see, is there a contingent, is there a movement within kind of the business community, larger businesses, to reach out to professors like people in your field of study to not only raise morale around a company, but also maybe increase productivity? Is that something that kind of crosses over into the positive psychology realm?
Yeah, I have noticed that, and colleagues of mine have discussed that we have noticed that it does seem that businesses are more interested in this, because one of the findings from the behavioral sciences over the last few years is this idea that when people are happier to be at work, they work harder. Their ideas become more creative. They take fewer sick days. They're more likely to collaborate with their colleagues.
all of which have implications for a company's bottom line. In fact, I think it was Jim Clifton. I think he was the CEO of Gallup, and he once said, look, I'm a businessman. If the data showed that yelling at my employees were more effective, I would do that instead. But the best research suggests that when people are in a better mood, they're going to work harder. They're going to make me earn more money. So for that reason alone, I want my employees to be happier. And now we do have businesses that I think are interested in building worker morale by ensuring some work-life balance, by giving people appropriate time for vacation, by getting them to focus on good things, by allowing them to work on projects that are personally meaningful for them and that align with their values, by getting wellness programs that get them to incorporate physical activity into their days. Just those small little things that the accumulation of which over time really builds that morale. And sure enough, people stay at those businesses longer. They work harder, and it does seem to help the business in the end.
I think it could help out sports teams too, thinking about it, get some positive psychology, because I'm a huge Blues fan, and it's like, I thought our heads were messed up. I'm like, these guys are good. We got to get our heads straight, boys.
That's right. Yeah, well, I know that the last couple of weeks we had that with that winning streak. I'm a Blues fan too, and I know we all got excited about them breaking that record. But then last couple of weeks, it's kind of been hit or miss.
I know. Bennington had to come back down to earth. I knew it had to. I'm an averages guy. I'm a law of averages guy. I'm kind of a scientist too. I dabble.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Hey, you got data there. But that's another important part of psychological health, though, is knowing how to rebound from adversity. This idea that it's going to be possible for us to craft a life where we're happy all the time. Nobody's happy all the time. The people who are the happiest are not those who are happy all the time. The people who are happiest understand realistically that life comes with adversity. Life is unfair. Life has challenges. And so instead of being completely defeated by those or wallowing in their despair, oh, woe is me, they say, yeah, life is hard right now, but they have this repertoire of strategies to restore their mood and get back up on their feet a little bit more quickly. It's not that they are superhuman people walking around who don't feel bad when bad things happen, but they're able to do something. They call a friend, or they focus their attention on good things to sort of minimize the impact of that negativity, not get rid of it altogether, but they do something that allows them to persevere and to cope productively so that they can get back on with their life a little bit more effectively, even if that means that your Blues team, has lost a bunch of games. Hopefully you can look forward to the Cardinals season starting up soon and get excited about that.
Paulie Goldschmidt, baby.
Oh, that's right.
Can't help get excited. I always I like to pride myself or remind myself that if I'm ever in a moment of anger or sadness, I'm a big league closer. And if I'm going to be a good big league closer, I got to have a short-term memory. So for me, a good night's sleep, and then typically I'm like, all right, well, nothing I can do but to dwell on that anymore. Let's go ahead and move forward. And I just bury it down into my gut, Tim, is basically what I'm saying. Yeah,
absolutely.
Eat your pain is what Tim's basically trying to tell us.
Well, and sleep in particular the importance of that cannot be overstated. Just, when you look at the neurochemicals that are released there that are important for emotion regulation and mental acuity, I mean, there's a huge body of research just on the importance of sleep, kind of hitting the reset button on a bad day, kind of like when your device stops working. Sometimes you unplug, turn it off, and you hit the reset button and it's working again. Same thing with us. When we're having a bad day, often a good night's sleep is the best thing we can do to hit that reset button, give the brain the time it needs to kind of release those neurochemicals that are the brain's natural feel-good chemicals. And when we wake up, it's like hitting the reset button and you feel better.
That's great, because I woke up in a bad mood this morning. My wife goes, "You go back to sleep until you are in a good mood, sir." And I was like, "Fine, I'll go take a nap." So I'm really living.
Naps are great.
I'm living the dream, baby.
I'm very pro nap. Absolutely.
All right, we play a little game called Things I Love.
Okay.
And we always just, we try to find the little things. Try to find who's got the best little thing that they love. I love the smell of petrichor. Right, I love the smell of rain when it's hit the earth after it's been dry for a long time. Give me something that you love. You practice gratitude all the time. It should come to you pretty naturally.
Yeah, well, one thing that I love, especially on a day like today, is the sunshine and the fact that we've hit that daylight savings mark where we get to enjoy it a little bit more. Most people I've seen have been in a really good mood today. I think that's owing to the fact that we've had sunshine and warmer temperatures after the long winter we had. And the sun's still out right now, and it's beautiful. So I'm grateful for the sunshine right now.
Let the sun shine.
That's right. And for music about sunshine, even better.
All right, Craig, you're up. You already did yours.
Yeah, I got all kinds of them.
I'll do
Go ahead.
mine. I'll do mine then. Mine is, what was it? I just had it.
You
Now
lost
it's
it.
gone. But I like sunshine as well.
I like it. I like it whenever you go to.
lost it for a
I like a really smooth writing pen. I love a really smooth writing pen across like a nice
Oh, I know.
thick paper.
I know
Good
what it is.
cardstock.
I like when you drop something that's breakable, but like you almost settle it with your foot if you ever do that, or you
Stop it,
catch it,
like a hex
or you,
set.
yeah, exactly. You
Mhm.
stop it. That is one of my
Stall,
joys,
baby. Yeah.
And no
Yeah.
one's around to see it. You're like, I just saved a wine glass. Didn't even see that.
Seth, do you
right.
love
That's-
anything?
No.
I love a lot of things. But no, I was going to add actually a question pertaining to like one of the things I love. You guys know me.
Yeah,
I'm a dark Tim Burton kind of.
There's a new Cure album coming out though. So
There is a
you
new
can-
Cure
you
album.
can get happy about
And
being
I
dark.
wanted to ask the doctor, like, is there any research around people like me? Like, I love like the things that lift me up are things that bring other people down. I love pictures of cemeteries, dead trees, fog, cloudy skies. I love storms. I listen to The Cure all the time. Like, why is it that like the stereotypical, oh, that's so dark and depressing is like kind of what lifts me up and makes me comfortable?
I can appreciate it.
Well, there's any number of explanations for that. One is that you're just weird. No, I'm just kidding.
Ha, no,
just a
that's
joke.
it. That's it. Thank you, Tim. We'll check you out
Very
next week.
important. No,
was the
no,
word
no.
I was.
I have a close friend who loves gray days. He hates the sunshine. He hates people being so perky all the time. And so it could be that there's some sense of just realism that you have, and this is not to say that you're depressed, but one of the things we know about people who are depressed is that, quite frankly, they tend to be more realistic, and that there's a term for it, depressive realism. That you don't sort of go around with a positivity bias, but you just sort of see things as they are. And so perhaps, those more macabre scenes or the gray skies sort of bring you in line with reality with no risk that you're going to have the Pollyannas trying to overinflate how wonderful things are. And maybe you're just, what it's telling you or what it's telling us is that you're not a pessimist or an optimist. You're just a realist. And this is just how things are. And that makes you feel good. And that's great.
You don't know Seth. He's a jerk.
That is, I'm going to tell you, when I finally get the cojones to go up on stage and do stand up and become famous doing it, I'm going to name my first comedy album Depressive Realism.
There you go. Hey, do it. You'll get the attention of a lot of psychologists. We'll know exactly what you're talking about.
Nice.
Tim, plug your book one more time. Is that something that we can go to Amazon or something and find?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's for sale at Amazon. It's called When Likes Aren't Enough, a crash course in the science of happiness. It's available at Barnes & Noble and Left Bank Books in the Central West End also, but Amazon, quick and easy way to get it right now.
Tim, you're a true delight. You're a true delight to talk to. I think, we started a web page around a fan page around our show, and it's a little tribe community where we can get that social interaction and help people out. We sent up a couple people to California to get some medical treatment. And so we're trying to live the change you're talking about. So it's really awesome to hear someone with an academic background say it instead of Craig and I.
For real.
Because we're radio morons.
Well, hey, you're reaching a lot of people, so thanks for inviting me to be a part of it tonight.
Don't lie to us.
Thanks for calling in, Tim. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All right, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
I like him a lot.
He's great, man.
I like him a
Super
lot.
solid energy. He's all smiles.
Go get a drink. You heard him.
Guy. I would love to.
Not you.
I would love to go have a cocktail with him.
Me.
Guys, I want to remind you that if you're not getting your insurance from James Carlton State Farm,
what's wrong with people?
I don't understand what I got.
I called him today.
Not all of us are expected to operate on the same cognitive level. I get that. But if you're not calling James Carlton State Farm, just get a quote. I'm not asking you to switch everything over. I'm asking you to talk to the guy and tell me that switching over might not make a whole lot of sense for you.
Craig, riff time. You pretend to be me calling James Carlton today, and I'll pretend to be Danny at James Carlton.
Ring.
Hey, this is Danny with James Carlton. How can I help you?
Well, hey, Danny, I'm a huge radio host. I'm a big deal on Friday nights. My name's Steve Elgin, and I was just wondering if I could. I'm hoping to make a payment on my insurance.
Okay. Oh, everything that sounds real good, Steve, and I'll treat you like a king because you are a king. And here's the deal. Your payment's paid. How's the radio show going? And what would your question be if you were me? It would be, has anyone called?
Has anyone called James Carlton State Farm to get a quote from you through Hoosier Sophisticate?
Oh, no one has actually. At least I don't know of them calling. A few from TMA, but none from you.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for taking my payment.
Insane.
314-961-4800. Call Carlton Insurance and get yourself some insurance. Just get a quote. Get a quote. He's awesome, guys. He's such a sweetheart. He's going to take care of you like he takes care of his own family. That's how he took care of me and Steve. That's why we started Wish He Was Our
I
Dad.
called him. I wish
James
he
Carlton
was
State
our
Farm. 314-961-4800. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU920am.com. On the other side of the break, we got Heather and Nathan. They're going to talk to us about some water.
Water's trying to kill.
Say word, last February we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove, and I gotta tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house, and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerous, guys.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Lifetime. Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime. Yeah. And just go Google it.
I wanna lay those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna lay those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding.
Google it.
Roof up for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, hoo. Cause we tell all them leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy boy, yeah. Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Hey there, Krager.
Well, hey, Steve.
How you doing, buddy?
Man, I've been pretty good.
Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now?
I just don't know where to find a good one.
Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MoMedCanco.com.
Where?
I get it from MoMedCanco.com.
Is it expensive?
It don't cost two kittens' whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off.
Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton.
Darn right we are.
Where can I find them?
You can find them online, momedcanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Dear Vet Ticks, it was nice to spend the night with my daughter and other veterans. It's so humbling to attend an event when you feel appreciated.
I had a wonderful time with my family. Thank you for the memories, Vet Ticks.
Dear Vet Ticks, thank you for a great experience and for your support of the military and veterans.
Thank you so much, Vet Ticks. Our family has gone through a lot the last few years, and this gave us a nice break.
Every empty seat at a concert, game, or special event is a missed opportunity to say thank you to a veteran or a service member. By giving your extra tickets to VetTix, you'll help America's heroes reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create a truly happy memory that will last a lifetime. So when you really want to say thank you for your service, give the experience, give the memory. VetTix. Give something to those who gave. For more information on how you can make a difference, go to vettix.org.
The good people of St. Louis City can be quite sophisticated.
Here we are in a universe that has nothing in common with us. We're just a sort of cosmic fluke. And therefore, the only hope for mankind is to beat this irrational universe into submission.
And at other times, pretty Hoosier as well.
I tried this one chili and it set my mouth on fire and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WGNU 920 and streaming live at WGNU920am.com.
In order to get the principle of a network across, I have to convey to you an idea which is extremely simple, but which is difficult to grasp only because we're not used to it. We are used to thinking as Westerners, as having a certain kind of language, and therefore a certain kind of logic that goes with it. We're used to thinking of the world in terms of the game of billiards. In other words, we are still thinking about our psychology, our bodies, and their relationship to the outside world in terms of what would scientifically be called Newtonian mechanics.
You're live with Stephen Elgin and Craig Kohler. This is Hoosier Sophisticate Radio, everybody. Presented by Mycelio Media. Let's chill, St. Louis.
Hey, welcome back to Hoosier Sophisticate with Stevie and the Squeege. No, you're Stevie.
You just love
WGNU 920 AM coming hot over your radio dials, and put a .com behind that if you want to join the people of the future. Do that, and you can stream us live online. And if you want to catch us out on Facebook, I hate Mark Zuckerberg, but we're pretty much all pawns in his plan to take over the globe. So catch us out on YouTube if you hate him. And the name's Mycelial Media, MYCELIAL Media, MEDA. Now throw it back to the Squeege.
Well, you just spelled Mycelial Media. This is
MIBDAJ.
We're getting real intimate in here.
Media. Mycelial
We're always
Media.
having fun.
We are, and I'm sick of it.
I am tired.
With you. I'm tired of fun. Tim,
we got our friends Nathan and Heather.
Use that term loosely.
Get up on that mic. Let everybody hear
Make
your
love to
sultry
it.
tones.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, because the summer sun starts a beating down and you don't know what to do. Will you grab your swimming suit and everybody goes and drives until... Did you turn me off?
He turned him off. Gosh, that was my favorite moment in radio.
The map turns blue. Daytona Beach. Hey, that's a shout out to Brad Taylor. Turn my mic back on. I don't.
Yes.
I'm back.
Guys, every time we check in with you,
That's water.
you're trying to make everybody healthier. I don't know why they won't listen to you.
They don't listen to them.
They don't listen to them. They
They
don't listen to them.
They don't.
I don't know why. I don't know why there's not people just packed in the halls right now.
People don't listen to them.
It just goes right over their head.
Okay.
Terrible promoters. No.
Where's the deal?
They do say that a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So
That's
maybe
true.
That's what we're dealing with.
No.
No.
Well, let's talk about you guys. We talk about spirulina, which is just fascinating. But you kind of what? Talk to me about water. Talk to me about what we're drinking.
Well,
and how
Craig,
we need to change it.
It's H2O, bro.
Yeah. So we've been working off the platform with Dancing with Water for a long time. And MJ, who wrote
Michael
the
Jackson.
book Dancing with Water, it's based off a lot of Dr. Emoto's work, as well as more in depth about the water molecule and how to actually clean out each water molecule, and then how to open up the water molecule, reprogram it with what you want in it. Since our bodies are 70% water and we're crystalline beings, and water is a crystalline molecule, we have to program the molecules before they go in our body, so then we can program the molecules in our body the way we want.
Makes sense when you think about it.
No, that's deep. So how do you
It
do
is
that?
deep, like underneath your body. Too.
Well, you have to come to one of our workshops,
Okay.
or have us come to your home, or call us for a consultation.
Okay.
Those kinds of things. We can't give away all the secrets.
Naturally.
Is Dr. Mo Yamamoto? I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name.
Emoto. Very close.
Emoto.
Like emotion, like emote.
I didn't mean that.
EMOTO.
MEDJ.
MEDA.
Is that from What the Bleep Do We Know? The
There you go.
Mind.
I believe it was featured in that. Yes.
I looked that up, and that the science is a little sketchy behind Dr. Yamamoto. Is what I don't know. I get tricked on the
Very
internet.
right-brained. I will give you that
I'm
much. Yes,
very
that was-
much a guy who's like one side of an internet argument. I'm like, I'm there, baby. And then I read the other side, and I'm like, well, it looks like I'm on this team now.
You're
I'm
a
a flip-floppy. I'm Benedict Arnold, baby. Whatever
Damn
side's gonna
Benedict
win.
Arnold.
But I was fascinated by those studies where if you tried to affect the water molecules with positive energy, they formed these beautiful crystalline structures. And actually, what I read was they couldn't replicate it on a full basis where they felt that comfortable about it, but it still was having some effects on these water. And I'm like, if it's doing anything to these water molecules with a
Right.
little bit of thought, like that's something we maybe should start looking into.
Exactly.
A little bit, okay, guys?
And we do need more data.
Oh.
We need more people to look into that kind of stuff. It's not
don't.
just something that one study can do. And it's like anything. Science is limited in that it can only measure what is quantifiable, what is basically physically tangible. It's only with quantum science that they can measure anything that is beyond that. And that's where we get, a little bit difficult to understand for a lot of us on layman's terms. But yeah, water is actually living. You can even look at scripture, talks about this. And it's essentially, it really does come down to the molecules. Yeah, it's crazy.
What explain quantum mechanics in theory to me like I'm a third grader.
Well, that's another thing. We're just like anyone else. We're just learning as we go. And it's we have a hunger, and we have some background of we're both healers, and that's what we seek to do in other people's lives. But we're not biologists. We're not credentialists, and there's a lot of
They
things
are
that
medical doctors, though. Both of them.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
But
We are here to cure,
But
treat,
we did
prevent,
team up
mitigate
with the
disease.
lady MJ Pangman and Melanie Evans. They're a small business, and
Okay.
they do all the research. We don't have to be the ones who do all the actual scientific based evidence. We're just researchers. We go and read like so much every day. I'm pretty sure I read like 4 hours a day. I don't know how. I
Nerd
find the
alert.
time.
Am I right, guys? Let's go watch some Netflix.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you what was on Netflix. I have no idea.
If structured
Every time I
water,
turn on my
Streaming picks
TV
of the
in, like, a
week.
month.
Cue it up.
But yeah, it's just what you were talking about earlier, Steve, with the internet, how you're like, oh, I'm on this team and that team. Really, the internet's there to just divide all of us, and we all just need to be like game plan together kind of thing. And that's just there to a tool to separate us, but it's also a great tool to educate yourself and then get a network of people
yeah.
around you to have the information
dead
that you
on.
want. So
You're so right on.
and I talked about Dr. Moto. That's just like the jumping off point. What we do is so much deeper than that, because we're not we are Reiki practitioners, and we do program the water with Reiki afterwards, Reiki blessings. But we do a lot of actual like distillation. We use 9 times roasted bamboo salts, which is something that MJ.
Ooh, bath salts and water. Sign me up, ladies and gents.
Yeah, and those.
No, bamboo salts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we use different things like laminar crystals, which have gold in them, and they open up the water molecule. So then we can actually put into the water molecule the programs that we want.
How bad is the regular water coming out of my tap right now?
Well, you can
That's a great question.
Yeah, you can go on EWG, environmentalwatergroup.org, and you can actually look up your.
Say that one more time for the listeners.
Yeah, EWG.org. Is it
That was a tough one, Steve. Way to make her.
I think it's org. If not, it's .com. But they will. You put in your zip code and you find your water supplier for.
Are they going to tell me the truth, or are they going to be giving me the old pineal gland shuffle?
Federal law that they have to tell you what they test in your water every
about
year.
all the pharmaceuticals, all the chemicals you can't pronounce.
And they'll tell you which ones are like runoffs from environmental. Like agricultural
for
waste.
Our own good, guys. It's for our own good. Drink up the water. Lap it up.
Right.
Lap it up, sheeple.
They say our water is better than if you go to Mexico, but I'm not going to drink that water, and I'm not going to drink this tap water. So.
Oh man,
River to Pear's revenge.
I'm still drinking out of the garden hose after a couple of innings.
Sure,
Step ball, like I had a nice
step ball.
Did you ever play step ball as a kid?
No, I played with my stepdad baseball.
Oh,
is that what you call stepdad baseball?
When you no, it's not what I called. I didn't have a stepdad, Steve. Why do you always make me feel bad about the things I didn't have?
I don't know. I just like to brag on my stepdad as much as I can. Is that wrong?
We used to play a game called step ball. Every kid in my neighborhood played it. I can't believe that you didn't play.
We probably called it something different
because you take a tennis ball, you get it's like Indian ball. You know, you get it. So
we called it Chinaman ball.
Is that what you called it?
Indian ball,
That's
Chinaman ball, a bunch of whites
nomenclature.
in South City. Is that what you're doing, Craig?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that how
exactly
you're
what I'm
gonna
doing.
do-
So
is that how
if
do
you
this?
threw it, you wanted to hit it on the corner of the steps, so it go across the street. And that's a home run. Otherwise, if it gets past the guy, then it's a single.
We called it wall
Singles
ball.
and home run. Okay. Yeah, same thing, but we were playing with
Wall
steps.
ball, yeah.
Step ball. We had
That's
steps.
cool.
I know.
That's cool.
I know.
That's
I know.
actually it takes it up a notch.
Point is, we used to work up a good little lather.
And you
And you needed a little bit of water. You pull out that old green, trustworthy rubber hose, and you just drink
Stuck it in
on
your
into
mouth
it
and just took it.
drink
Remember,
on
you
it.
put it like and
everyone's
cheeks
like,
out.
Everyone's yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude.
For
Did
sure.
that funny thing, and then you put it through your leg.
How much poison did I swallow as a kid? How much
Oh,
poison
tons.
did I
Look at
swallow?
you.
We ate a lot of paint chips as a kid.
What? Why?
Right.
Okay, I got a question, a real one. Ran into your buddy Mike Brown.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
the Grow to Greatness podcast.
Grow to Great.
Yep.
Grow to Great
Absolutely.
podcast. Check him out. He's a wonderful guy. Okay, he's full of energy.
Mike Brown.
He's you guys and him are three of the most beautiful people on earth for real
Sure.
that I've
Wow.
met. Like
That
just
makes me feel
three
great.
greats. Okay. I try my best, but like I said, I had a good 7-year run where I was a piece of trash. Okay. So that's still living in me a little bit. I wonder, I still get down too. And I try to be this positive guy who's like, hey man, everybody will rally around. Let's do this. How do you guys deal with those moments when maybe you wake up in the morning and you're like, just not feeling the water fight today? Drink it up, heathens.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, how do you, what are some techniques you guys use to kind of, drag yourself out of the doldrums of everyday life?
Goodness, man, that's a very loaded question because you're talking about a state of being and how do we maintain
loaded right
certain-
now, fella.
Yeah, all right.
How do we not go postal on everybody?
Yeah.
Or just
you
deal
really
with
need to-
stresses. What do you guys do? Because you guys are extremely positive people. Like you may not even know. You guys may not even realize how much positive energy you're putting out in the world. But I swear, every time we hang out with you guys, it's just like a great feeling.
better.
Yeah, you feel a little bit better about ourselves after we're done hanging out with you. Like that's a special thing, is what I'm saying.
That's how I feel about you guys.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're always
obviously that's what we do. So maybe I'll ask myself that question.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Steve, how do you bring so much joy to everyone's life? I don't know, Squeege. It just is a gift.
I love it.
Next.
How do you maintain this energy level? Because that's what I want.
What does your routine look like?
We drink really good water and we practice good hygiene. No,
Yeah, we brush our teeth regularly.
Makes sense to me.
So, no, honestly, there are so many ways that our health is being attacked, and we have to be really preventative. So, I mean, like she said, we read a lot. We are always learning, and I think that is one of the key elements, that we're always learning new things to improve, but never let never let anything cause you to forget that you're already infinitely powerful as a human being on this planet. You've got something that everybody else wants in other dimensions and stuff, and you are a pro manifester already just to get incarnated here. So congratulations. But that's what it is. Self-talk, it's mental game. It's all about just an inner knowingness when you are being bombarded from the outside with poisons, with chemicals. We're being systematically dumbed down with things in our food and our water. Or at a certain point, we're being demineralized. And so these are very simple concepts, even though, I mean, you can take it down to chemistry and molecules and quantum matter. We're really just trying to tap in what the earth is already doing and what our bodies are already naturally doing, and then trying to enhance that. Am I off?
No, to
track?
piggyback off that, when you said what the earth is already doing, it reminded me. So I know the water thing seems very deep and intricate, but it's something deep within us. So we definitely all have an understanding of it. We just have to be reminded that we do. And then it will come back in a second.
You talking about being made so much of water. That's when I lose. Go ahead.
No.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead.
So I was just gonna say with the live with the full spectrum live water programming and structuring, what we're doing is just recreating what the earth is already doing. So it's the way the earth actually cleans the water. We're just recreating that whole process.
Away from me.
Well, you were talking about how we're mostly made up of water, and sometimes where I get lost sometimes, or I get frustrated, I think sometimes with like astrology and these different ideas of how the planets and everything affect us, and the people that are seemingly tied into that the most.
Vaj crystals.
Also, maybe it seems like you should know that, like kind of like they know better than I do when Mercury retrograde's coming in. You know what I mean? So like
right now, it's happening.
Right. It's right now. They're way better prepared for it than I am. But all you got to do is say, "Hey, it's Mercury retrograde," and I'm like, "All right, well, I don't know where I stand on that,
Yeah.
but I'm just not going to talk." Okay,
Right.
great. So no, but what I was saying is like the idea of how the planets affect us. The only where it starts to pull me back is when like the lunar phase, the moon. If the moon can pull tides in the ocean, it can certainly affect the way we feel internally.
Yeah. You
I
believe
would
that
think
story?
so. I would
I mean,
think
we're
so.
electromagnetic, so it only makes sense.
I would think so.
It's gonna affect that field.
I don't know. That's I'm like, oh yeah, there's something to that. I can get that. And if that's the case, then maybe it's not just the moon pulling tides. Maybe all these other rocks that are floating around in the sky have some gravitational input as far as how the earth is moving and reacting to things. And I don't know. I don't know.
Why would we ever have any connection to the universe around us? This guy doesn't know what he's talking
we're
about.
only
I
made of
apologize.
stardust,
What
so
if your
I
thoughts and
1-800
intentions had that kind of effect that we think of planets having? What if you had that kind of effect? Perhaps you do.
For sure. I like it. What's something you love?
I just thought of
I
this
wanna
the other
play
day,
this
but it
game.
was kind of a backhanded comment of something I love because I was being irritated at that moment. Because Mercury retrograde
that's
really
okay.
affects children, I feel like.
That's okay.
I
like backhanded things.
Children
I love.
are our future, so
I love backhanded things. I love. I'm
Okay.
condescending.
All
I
right,
get
cool. Things I love is talking but never being heard.
Oh, that's really
it. No,
really actually
that
love
was
that?
yeah. That was. Do you love that, or do you just like tell yourself you love that so that you don't
I
just blow
sarcastically
up?
tell myself that so I can make it through my day. You want to know how I'm positive? There it is.
What do you really love? What do you really love? What's something small you love?
Together like butt cheeks.
Yeah, that's what I love. Coming together like butt cheeks. Good job, Seth, on the 1s and 2s. Going back to the squeeze.
No, I guess I'm on kids right now. I don't know why in my head, probably because I haven't seen them all day. But things I love are when you actually teach something to kids and they may not get it at first. And then like a month later, you see them just like rocking it out.
It's awesome.
And you're just like,
That's a
they
good
got
one.
it. It clicked.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Nathan, give me some you love.
Oh man, I love hiking through the mountains up a waterfall and like, oh, my water bottle's out. But guess what? This waterfall is so clean. I can just straight drink it. Clean water. Yeah. Keep hiking up the waterfall up to like 10,000 feet where you get
drink straight out of the source.
Yeah.
Man, find a mountain man sitting at the top.
I love how excited you get about water,
pee-pee.
man. I got to tell you, that's a thing I love.
With our company name.
I can appreciate it. Why don't you let everybody know what it is? What's your company name?
Be the Source. Please visit us on Facebook. And we're finally dialing in our webpage at bethesourcellc.com. Feel free to stop by, say hi, and we are in very great need for funding on our GoFundMe page, gofundme.com/bethesource. It's for the Spirulina Project. We want to provide you with fresh spirulina, and that is going to be the greatest food and nutrient source you can imagine. If you're not familiar with it yet, do some reading. Stop by, say hi, let's learn some more together.
And it's local.
What's going on in Webster Groves in a couple weeks?
Yeah, that's a great question. We didn't even mention the Expo, Healthy Living Expo. It is the Natural Living Expo at Webster Groves Recreation Complex over 33 East Glendale. Next Sunday, March 31st, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I will be there with a booth, just providing information on the spirulina, on the fresh water. We'll also be doing a 20-minute exclusive talk. I'm not sure if that'll be separate or anyways. I think that's at 1 p.m. But please come down. We do have tickets to hand out to your listeners. We have a stack. We have a stack here. Let's connect. However, we want to get that done within the next week. We got plenty of those to give out. Hit us up. It's all love.
This segment sponsored by Alex Jones iodine tablets. Get your iodine tablets for your water. Alex Jones, is iodine a real deal? Is he? What are we doing?
Iodine is very much what we need. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
the way they're polluting the water, it's affecting your iodine.
Yeah.
Get it, guys.
So we brought our periodic table.
Give me that thing.
Show me the periodic table.
So here's an interesting fact that we learned from
Did you guys make this thing up?
No, I wish, but no.
We've been alive for a very long time.
I've never seen this thing before.
Have you ever heard of Gershon therapy?
Every day of my life.
Okay, awesome. So I was listening to her one day, and she made a good point, and I remember this from chemistry class after it triggered the memory. So if you look in a column of the periodic table, with it going up and down, you see in the halogens, it's fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So when you put fluoride in the water and chlorine and bromine, which is all in there, it displaces your iodine. So all the people with hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, all the thyroid issues, that's where it starts. And a lot of stuff
It's an iodine deficiency.
Yes, it displaces your iodine, so you don't have it.
And when you don't have the proper amount of iodine, guess what actually takes its place in your neurons?
You look like
heavy
Steve.
metals.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
You look like Steve.
Heavy metals. All the stuff they're spraying, like the strontium and the titanium. And
I'll soak it up.
And
I taught my body to live without water. So
Steve does not drink water.
I never have, never
Impressive.
will. Never have, never
We're talking to this man.
I mean, my pee is a
You're here.
milkshake, a dirty yellow milkshake.
God.
Rotten asparagus.
Throw it back to the squeege.
I think we should end it on yellow
it's
milkshake.
done. We're done.
No,
right?
they're talking about some real stuff too. We like to have fun around here, but if we're really getting into it and really talking about our health, I think water is probably a real good place to start. Is there
Pretty
any?
much where all the
Is there a
civilizations-
little tip you can give anybody on decalcifying that pineal gland? Is there any little deal? Just a quick little tip you guys can give me about
I really recommend, I can't do that, but I really, from my experience on my whole health journey, I really recommend anybody to research about French maritime pine bark and about how it detoxifies your brain on the cellular level, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and it detoxifies all the heavy metals out of your brain.
French maritime.
Yeah, French maritime bark.
Pine bark.
Pine bark.
I didn't realize she was going to be dishing out nuggets. Here we go.
Yeah.
Dang. Oh,
That's a super
nuggets.
antioxidant. It protects your blood-brain barrier from a lot of the heavy metals, and it's a super potent red powder that you buy in
Was it
bulk.
Malaysian?
Elite, top elite athletes take this because it is actually, it has to say the word.
Pycnogenol.
Yes.
Pycnogenol.
Yes. And that's the actual chemical in there that assimilates with your body, and it does the same thing as like what Adderall would do. And it helps with muscle recovery, like super fast. Like I have not ran since I was
nature's meth is what you're saying.
much. And
I've seen one person actually get off of Adderall with pine bark.
me right here.
Interesting.
It is, fascinating.
Cool. Guys,
Anything
check out
American.
Nathan and Heather. Be the Source. Look them up on Facebook. Help them out on the GoFundMe. Go visit them in Webster Groves. We always love having you guys in studio. Thank you so much. Guys, we got to jump to break because we're up against it. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU 920 AM. We'll see you on the other side of this week.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin.
Joining us now,
the good people of St. Louis City can be quite sophisticated.
Hoosier Sophisticate with Craig Kohler
The good
and
people
Stephen
of St.
Elgin.
Louis City can be quite sophisticated.
Here we are in a universe.
Say word. Last February, we held our first Hoosier Tattoo Day at Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove, and I gotta tell you, a lot of really sweet art happened on that day. Everyone who showed up left very happy with their new tattoo. The artist did everything they could to ensure everything, from the drawing to the application itself, was perfected and exceeded the expectations of each individual client. We packed the house, and the artist remained cool as a cucumber the whole time. If you got the itch to get inked, visit Tower Classic Tattooing, located at 4146 Manchester in the Grove. Check out their artist profiles at towerclassic.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. What people are really looking for is someone to help manage the risk of everyday life. And that's exactly what James Carlton State Farm does. He's also dangerously handsome.
He has the dreamiest eyes.
James Carlton has the best customer service in the game. You'll never get a voicemail, and you'll always get a great back rub.
He has the softest hands.
A strong sense of community is important to who he is as an agent. From local school sponsorships to sandbagging during floods, it's paramount to be a part of the community.
We love the cut of his jib.
Guys, call 314-961-4800. Find him online at carltoninsurance.net.
We wish he was our dad.
Lifetime. Yeah.
It lasts a lifetime.
Come on.
It lasts a lifetime.
Yeah.
And just go Google it.
I wanna lay those shingles down, girl, for you. I wanna lay those shingles down, boy, for you. I'm gonna do some siding, get you excited. James Hardy siding.
Google it.
That for a lifetime. You know I make your neighbors cry. Boo, boo. Cause we tell all the leaks go bye. And you know we all do the side.
James Hardy boy, yeah. Guys, Lifetime Roofing. They're the best roofers in the game. Best customer service. LifetimeSTL.com. Google them.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
Yeah, hi. I think I found your kid's stuffed animal near the swing set. Just want to call. I'm sure she misses it.
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. The toy was a little muddy, so I cleaned it up, and it's good to go whenever you're around.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger and give all of our kids the meals they need to grow. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Krager. Well, hey, how you doing, buddy? Man, I've been pretty good. Well, that's good. Hey, you heard anything about them newfangled hemp oils they got now? I just don't know where to find a good one. Well, I find the best full spectrum hemp oil from MomedCanco.com. Where? I get it from MomedCanco.com. Is it expensive? It don't cost 2 kittens whiskers. And if you enter HOSO in the promo box, you're going to get yourself 15% off. Buddy, it sounds like we're squatting tall cotton. Darn right we are. Where can I find them? You can find them online, MomedCanco.com, Missouri Medical Cannabis Company. Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Dear Vet Ticks, it was nice to spend the night with my daughter.
Vet Ticks. Dear Vet Ticks, thank you for a great experience and for your support of the military and veterans.
Thank you so much, Vet Ticks. Our family has gone through a lot the last few years, and this gave us a nice break.
Every empty seat at a concert, game, or special event is a missed opportunity to say thank you to a veteran or a service member. By giving your extra tickets to VetTix, America's heroes reduce stress, strengthen family bonds, and create a truly happy memory that will last a lifetime. So when you really want to say thank you for your service, give the experience, give the memory. VetTix. Give something to those who gave. For more information on how you can make a difference, go to vettix.org.
Hey Hoosiers, Craig Kohler here. With home buying season heating up, be sure to get a quote from a top agency and provider of the #1 home insurer in North America. They offer coverage that's second to none. In fact, if your AC goes out, they offer a new endorsement where you can get a replacement from a local HVAC company. Give them a call, 314-961-4800. If you get a machine and you don't talk to a person, we'll give you one of these fine Hoosier Sophisticate teas. Just takes one phone call or apply online at carltoninsurance.net. People do business with James because they like and trust him. Just check them out on Google and Facebook. If your insurance is costing you a leg and an arm, then call James Carlton State Farm.
When we installed internet access on our computer, I got the whole family involved. It was a lot of work, but it was really worth it.
That's right, Dad. Now the whole family can stream WGNU live by visiting WGNU920am.com.
We installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's right. Isn't the internet neat? You can also listen to past shows and featured interviews on our homepage.
No wonder you guys are always so busy on the computer.
WGNU920am.com. Point, click, and listen live.
It's really cool.
I think really the worth in these psychedelics is simply that they allow you to triangulate upon reality. I mean, in other words, if all you've got is awake and asleep, you can't go far with that. But if you've got awake, asleep, and DMT as points, you can build a much more dimensionally rich model of consciousness.
Welcome back, St. Louis. Let's get your mind right with Craig Kohler and Stephen Elgin. This is Hoosier Sophisticate on WGNU.
Welcome back, ladies and germs, non-binaries, and sentient artificial intelligence to Hoosier Sophisticate. The second hour is brought to you by Lifetime Roofing. Roof. Guys, it's been a windy mother out there. Go Google it. There's shingles all over the place. Are they yours? They might be. Google it. Google them. They're going to send somebody out there. Google it. Former insurance adjuster. Speaks the language. Google it. They know how to talk to make sure that if this is something that makes sense and you paying the deductible and getting it fixed, they're going to get you taken care of. Google it. And they're going to do it real quick. Weren't they trying? I don't know if they're still doing this, so you can shoot this down. You guys might know. But weren't they like in a day roofing?
Google it. What's in a day roofing?
Like just getting it done in the day.
Yeah, sometimes.
I mean, like it's
done in a day. It's built for a lifetime.
How?
It's done in a day. It's built for a lifetime. If you want me to get into specifics, then I'll start. I don't want to get into all the periodic table of elements like our
Of roofing?
like our guests. I don't want to talk over everyone's head and talk down to people like our guests did.
Okay.
Google it.
Google. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. Check them out. Something, there's a mayoral race going on in Columbia,
Missouri.
And
our boy Lance Leno.
Lance Leno had some questions for the mayoral candidates.
Let's take a listen, shall we?
City council meeting when there was a proposed resolution to support the statewide passage of Amendment 2. Mr. Brian Tracy, you were a little bit hesitant, and I was wanting to know if your views on marijuana changed, and if so, do you support the legalization of adult use in Missouri?
Sorry, could you repeat? Can you repeat the question, please?
Have your views gone amongst the city resolution that you were hesitant to endorse, but you ultimately did? Are you glad you did? And do you support the legalization of adult use in Missouri?
Legalization of marijuana. Got it. Are you talking about medical marijuana or recreational use?
Adult use.
Adult use for recreational purposes?
And no, adult use for adult use.
Yeah, as with most healthcare.
My guy. Give him a little round of applause right there. That was
Adult
good.
use for adult use, because I'm an adult, you see, who's in charge of my body and my consciousness and my health. An adult use because I'm an adult. That's why, sir.
That comes from a grainy video on Facebook.
Hey,
Lance's
Steve.
page too.
I think Craig has something to say too about that.
Okay, let's hear what you guys say.
I'm still from fucking South City. I'm still gonna break your fucking mouth.
Okay, Craig.
If you come to me with that bull. So there's
Jesus.
that. No condescension there.
Was this the same night?
You're not an equal in my group.
You're not an equal?
I'd like to. You are when it comes to civil conversation. You don't just get to dump your fucking garbage in my living room. So take your shit and get the fuck on. No one gives a fuck about you. Now, on to Hoosier Tattoo Day.
I love that. I love the inflex in his voice. Like, here's Tom with the weather.
Yeah, I know. Now back to Hoosier Tattoo Day. That comes from Condescending Craig. If you're not a part of our Facebook group, Sophisticated Hoosiers, you're missing out on a lot of fun stuff. Craig hops on there and does hashtag Condescending Craig. And usually he's lambasting our fans for not doing something that has lived up to his standards. That was somebody was on the page was talking trash to one of your loved ones, and you weren't having it. You're still from South City, hey, bro?
I guess.
Yeah, I know, right?
I guess.
He was angry.
He was mad. He was a little mad guy.
Well, you know, he got in my kitchen a little bit. I usually don't let people in my kitchen.
No, you don't.
But you don't get to come to my living room and dump your
So is that what that means?
What's that?
Because you guys, every time I'd get pissed off, like when we're messaging each other in our group chat, like, "Tell somebody's in the kitchen."
Oh yeah,
I had no clue. I was like,
what
is this kitchen thing? Like, oh, okay, I get it now. I finally get it. All right.
You've never heard that before?
No, it sounds stupid.
Yeah, where I was like, man, that guy that Larry Nichols in Seth's kitchen. It's like, it has nothing.
The day he's in my kitchen, I don't need to let people spit chewed up food.
I know. All right.
I don't.
We like movies, so do we. We like internet, so do you. It's the streaming picks of the week in Netflix. It's the streaming picks of the week. It's the streaming picks of the week. We like the internet too.
What are you watching, buddy?
Oh, I found gold. Every once in a while, sometimes I got to search for these. I got to search. What have I been streaming? What have I been watching? Game of Thrones. It's all on my mind. It's the only thing on my mind.
It should be on your mind. It's just right around the corner.
On my mind.
Guys, we are a couple weeks away.
Ooh, okay. So to chill out and focus on something else, I started to watch Afterlife. And it stars one of my favorite comedians, Ricky Gervais.
He's great.
I love him.
Love Ricky Gervais.
The premise, I think it's six or eight episodes, short, half hour, I believe. But it's a dark comedy. His wife died, and he was in love with his wife more than he likes anything on earth. So he's always on the verge of suicide, but he also has this dog. So he's just coming out there. He's telling it like it is. It is hilarious, dude. So check out Afterlife. It's on Netflix.
Okay, I will.
With Ricky Gervais. It's good.
Okay.
It made me belly laugh a few times.
2 people on Facebook last Saturday morning simultaneously kind of both involved in the cannabis industry. I don't think their worlds cross over, though. We just met one of them at the conference. Another one of them is our buddy Chris Wolfenbarger. And they both simultaneously posted about this show on Netflix called Love, Death, and Robots. Love, Death, and Robots is like
so good.
It's like
so good,
man. It's one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time. Like it's my new Black Mirror.
It's jam.
It's jam, dude. I
didn't think it was as good as Black Mirror.
No. It's not. It's not. But
super short.
It's really impressive. So each episode's only like 10 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes.
Some of them are pretty quirky and funny. Most of them are pretty quirky and funny, but some of them are definitely more lean towards comedy. Yeah. And some of them are like just
dark action,
dark, heavy. Dude, the animation is unbelievable. You'll think that you're watching real people. Like, remember when they made the Final Fantasy movie? I remember when that came out, I was like, whoa, they're getting really close to making it look like real human. There were a couple of times in that, a lot of gratuitous nudity and violence for sure. But it was each episode was a totally different, fun little sci-fi short, and they all imagined these really bizarre dystopian futures, which Netflix really has kind of a great handle on right now. There's a lot of really cool dystopian sci-fi out there. If you want something, it's easy and fun to watch. It's hyper violent. I'm not gonna lie. There are some of them that are hyper violent. Check out Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix.
They should call it Blood, Boobies, and Butts.
Metal butts. Yeah, it's awful. You're terrible. You guys, you say you're reading all the time. You got anything that you're watching, streaming at all?
Or reading?
You guys on Gaia at all? You want to give us a book? You give us anything? What's something that we need to put into our stream of consciousness?
Good job,
Anytime
guys.
Yeah. Watch. Oh my god. Watch a 2-hour video on YouTube called "It's Not Autoimmune, It's Viruses."
It's not autoimmune, it's viruses.
Dr. Tent.
And it talks about what bacteria?
Yeah, before they take that down.
Do you do what? What do you watch to unwind? Or do you ever read anything that's like not as heavy as?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
A wild movie, and I was like, oh, if I go down this rabbit hole
That
for
is-
too long, you're like, well, it's me against the world, and me and a few people against the world. Like, do you have any shows that you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch New Girl because I don't want to think about water.
New Girl's great.
Yeah, when you talk about esoteric, man, yeah, sometimes it gets overwhelming, and you need a little bit of comedy, a little bit of lighthearted. Turn the brain off. We're both like that. I'm really bad. I don't really have anything that I'm.
I don't even know what's on TV.
What are you reading?
Well, we're reading the Dancing with Water book right now, but I also read a lot of stuff from Julia Cannon about quantum hypnosis.
Cool.
And
Past life regressions.
Past life regression. And then I'm reading
All aspects of
also
healing.
from the Swarlows, Janet and Stuart. They teach deprogramming. He actually was like top level in the.
Yeah, he was in the Montauk Project. Yeah, his great uncle was the founder of the USSR, and when that caved, like they had brought him along with his whole family over. He was involved in the Montauk Project, mind control, all the way. He was basically involved in that, and now he teaches deprogramming, which is absolutely essential. We are all being mind controlled with EMFs.
Really?
That's what 5G is all about.
Yeah, and you asked how we stay positive throughout the day. Well, there's a book that has, and it's kind of like my own little basic instructions before leaving Earth, but just to keep my mind straight. And when I start, like, I don't read it every day, and I don't read it from front to back, but I just will randomly open to a page if I'm feeling a certain way, and it's usually the affirmation I need. So, and they have a 7-day series of affirmations for your week, so you can.
Seems like a good positive way to start your day.
Yep, and I started doing those with my kids, and I give
Right
them
on.
an affirmation, and I'm like, focus on this one thing today. So
That's great.
We didn't talk any AI today, any artificial intelligence. That's because we are joined by 2 robots who are here to take over the world. You guys are
just doing. I caught a video clip of some woman in a press conference that was clearly not supposed to be viewed by too many people, but she said this just happened earlier, like last month in Japan. 4 AI militarized, weaponized robots in a private lab basically murdered 29 human beings, and they were able to dismantle 2 of them, one of which actually logged on and connected to a satellite and learned how to repair itself whilst being off.
Where was that? China? They said
Japan.
No, yeah, I heard.
But if you're hearing about it, I can guarantee you this stuff has actually been going on for decades, and it's reaching a point where they can't hide it from you anymore.
I researched that too because that was on the page, and the powers that be also said that didn't happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
For
So,
sure,
I think
I love
that makes their bottom line look bad.
well, sure, stock prices are going to drop a little bit when Sophia starts murdering the masses.
Hey, Seth, can we do?
How about that?
Nope. He's the worst. God. Can
What do you want?
Well, I was, that actually, that was what I was looking for.
Hi, Craig.
I just thought we had maybe a little bit of extra time. I typically always ask you if you have anything that you've been streaming, and you typically leave me hanging. But I thought maybe in its place this time, I'm going to go ahead and ask you if you've been streaming anything because I feel like you're going to throw it in my face.
No, I haven't been streaming anything.
Okay.
I've been very busy lately.
You're a busy guy.
The last accomplishment I had was fixing this computer, which is finally working.
Well done,
I don't know if
sir.
you know that. I've been sweating bullets back here trying to get this crashed out computer working. We're all good and running. I don't know if Saturn's moons were having sex at the wrong time. I don't know what effect.
You're the worst.
Crystals or whatever. The second they brought up the weird. Thanks for your voodoo because it crashed out my computer.
They brought so much energy
just
in there.
A regular old human had to
you had to deal with people made of magic, and
Yeah.
it
Thanks.
blew up in your face.
It did.
That's
We
like
got
I'm starting to feel good inside. I don't like it.
Before we wrap this up, do we have time that we could just like touch on like a rabbit hole, just like a little smidge 'em?
If you have a rabbit hole,
You want to touch on a rabbit hole?
I thought maybe
I got a rabbit hole that I actually always wanted to discuss with Heather.
do you want
Yes.
some rabbit hole music, or you just want to jump into this? I can.
Yeah, give us a little rabbit hole.
Give me the sovereign
You'll have to give me
citizen
like a
scoop.
That's
solid
okay. Don't worry about it because we
50
only got
seconds.
about
Just
7
keep
minutes.
We got
talking,
7
and
minutes.
then-
Give me the
And,
sovereign citizen spiel because you're becoming something.
Magistrate?
A grand jury administrator.
Okay.
And we all can actually be that. That's our right.
Sounds made up.
That's actually one of our liberties. So without us understanding what liberty is, we will never have freedom. So that's one of the things. Was it Benjamin Franklin or Abraham Lincoln that said something about if we don't know what our liberty
Never
is?
heard of them.
Who?
Yeah.
A nation that expects to be ignorant and free expects what never was and what never will be.
Nice.
Okay, I like that. You're always
So,
dropping those on us.
National Liberty Alliance is nationallibertyalliance.org is a great community to get involved, and they will. It's like $10 for a membership, but if you can't afford that, they'll waive it. But you can train to become a grand jury administrator because we're going to need them when all the stuff hits the fan. So it will happen, and it's just a matter of
Does
time.
it give you some kind of legal standing? What is the?
Yeah, because the whole thing is like your
so-
birth certificate is you're part of a
It's a bonded-
corporation.
yeah, so our birth certificate's actually on the stocks. Is a bond. It's on bond paper. My aunt works in City Hall, so I know for a fact they changed all of these here in the past 10 to 15 years. She had to take all the birth certificates of everybody still living and convert it over onto bonded paper, which is what you would get a bond, like a stock bond on. And so there, if you actually go on to fidelity.com, you can YouTube this too.
Fidelio.com.
Yeah,
Don't go to Fidelio.com.
And you put in the number on your birth certificate, you will see you on the actual stock market. And then as your life goes on, you will see after a year, you're seasoned. Now you're worth $1 million and probably more now with inflation. And then you will also see all your kids under there. And then you'll see that your stock went up because you just had chattel to them. So now your chattel adds more. Yeah, because that's what it, and I watched an open floor Senate discussion, a senator from Ohio in Congress. I watched this, and this lady was actually talking about how they treat the citizens like chattel. So it's not something that they don't know that they're doing. So this is things that, I mean, if you ask what I watch boring things and mundane
Well, I don't
things
know
that
how
most
boring
people
that is. That's
would
like
think
the
that it's that
craziest
way.
plot of a dystopian future I've
Right.
heard yet.
Guys, check out New Girl on Fox.
Wait a minute. Where can I watch my stock rise?
Oh.
Fidelity.com.
Greg,
But you'll
yours
have
is
to
in the
go-
trash
you'll
can,
have to
bro.
go on,
Mine is like this.
I'm at
and yours
I'm
is
at a
like,
great buying point right
yeah,
now.
you are.
Everybody's
you are.
selling on
Sell
you
me,
hard.
Sell me. is
Sell
our-
Steve and
yeah.
buy Craig.
You can see who owns your, who is running your portfolio too. It has all that information on there. If you have the
Jen
audacity
and Missy
to call
own
them.
our stock. Like, what the heck?
It's been crashed. She's been
Jen
shorting it.
Hauer Elgin? She hyphenated
She's been
her
shorting
name?
it like she throws you on tilt.
Yeah.
She throws you on tilt.
Something else cool I learned too. So your your county sheriff has more pull. He's actually the sheriff's actually the person in charge, and they're there.
St. Louis?
Like
St. Louis City Sheriff.
Yes, there should be a county sheriff. Your
Okay.
county
I'm just
sheriff.
I thought you expect that in small towns. You know, like, oh, the sheriff of the small
No,
town.
they're city police are part of the corporation and all that, but sheriffs actually are there to help assist the people to get the things that they need. They're supposed to be there to support the people, and they answer to the people, not the other way around. And they're actually the people. They don't even need a warrant to go and arrest the governor of the state.
That's like Tommy Lee Jones from
He was a
There Will Be
marshal.
Blood.
What?
I mean, No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
Thank you.
And these are all things you can learn on National Liberty Alliance. And it's just a whole bunch of people like, us and lawyers and everybody else. And they teach you about how the bar is actually registered in England and Britain, and it's part of the British Crown. So you definitely don't want a bar attorney, and you can represent yourself in court. You just have to know how to fill out the forms properly. They teach this on there too. It's like $250. You can do
This is
that.
heavy.
Woo, I know, man.
Yeah.
You just opened up not just a rabbit hole. You opened up like a chasm.
Liberty. I opened up liberty for everybody.
Oh, personal sovereignty. I'm a big fan of personal sovereignty. I even have anarchist tendencies sometimes. At least what I should be able to do with myself. Guys, it's been a wonderful fun. We started off the show with some laughs. We checked in with Tim Bono.
We ended with terror.
Yeah, that's where we want to leave you.
The fear.
Tim Bono taught us the value in learning how to be positive, even though you are just a little.
Hold on. Oh my God! There's a system fail. System failing, Greg. Whoa!
It's the AI.
We just blasted off, bro. What a show.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on this little journey through the stars. You do it every Friday. We try to bring you the power of positivity. You got to learn how to stay positive and talk positive and meditate and exercise and get your brain right so that you can deal with the impending doom that is attached. The impending doom that is attached to just your birth certificate.
Squeege doesn't
You're
have
drinking
a birth
garbage water.
certificate.
You're drinking garbage water, and nobody's making spirulina available to you except for these people. Go and buy it, would you? Help them out.
Squeege only drinks Mountain Dew.
Go to the GoFundMe. Check out our friends at Be the Source. Join Sophisticated Hoosiers. Tell your friends. Join the fan page. We are having talks like this all the time. We pick the weekend that works best for you. All right. It's looking sometime in July, most likely. Everybody's kind of said there's been a lot of people who are like, you know what? I'm just going to make it work. We appreciate you coming along on this journey. The hats are still for sale. Get on there. Get your color.
Not this
Get
one,
your
though. This
color.
one's only mine.
No, that one. I made that one especially for my buddy Steve, who's made this whole thing possible. He started it a couple years ago telling terrible jokes that made people laugh for some reason. And then he asked me to come along for the journey. And it's the best thing that's happened to me in a long time.
And now look, he doesn't shut up.
I can't stop talking. We want to thank all of our sponsors, MoMedCanco.com. Enter HOSO at checkout. Get 15% off everything site-wide. Your entire order, the highest quality hemp products. They got the massage oil now. They got the hemp honey. They got all of
It's not that long.
It's good. It's all right. We got James Carlton State Farm. Call him for a quote, guys. 314-961-4800. Lifetime Roofing and Renovation. They're going to fix your roof and your siding. Any exterior work, they're going to get you taken care of. Just Google them.
Google it.
Tower Classic Tattooing in the Grove. Parlor STL. Missouri Medical Cannabis Consultants. Learn to grow with a pro.
It's canceled.
Check it out on Facebook.
It is canceled.
Canceled?
It is canceled. Probably should have let off the show with that.
Thanks for letting me know.
Grow with the Pro is canceled. You heard it here at the end of the show first.
Guys, thank you so much.
Last.
Thank you so much for joining. Happy birthday to our good friend Jenna Kroll.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to one of the sophisticated Hoosiers out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we love you. Thank you for coming out. Be well, St. Louis. We'll see you next week.
Ahead of his trip to Florida.
Well, we're going to see what happens. It's going to be very interesting, but we'll see what happens. There was no collusion. There was no obstruction. Everybody knows it. It's all a big hoax. I call it the witch hunt. It's all a big hoax. So we'll see what happens. I know that the Attorney General, highly respected,